Oh, come on, ref, are you blind? That was never a foul. These bloody referees ain't got a clue, David.
Alright, what's going on, guys? So welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be sitting and watching the third episode from season 1, which is called Hobbies. And this is by far one of my favourite episodes from season 1, mainly because I came up with so many ideas on the fly. I had a script written out, ready to go, and as I started to animate it, things just kept coming to me more and more and more. So I was running up and down, trying to record the new audio for it. And this is the episode where Mr. Daz's personality really starts to shine out, and you really get an idea of what kind of character he is. So yeah, hope you enjoy watching, and we're going to be pausing it a lot of the way through, so I can explain some things here and there. By the way, the West Ham side of it, I am a massive West Ham fan, and the reason why Mr. Daz is wearing a West Ham top is because he reminds me of my dad. My dad lives and dies in a West Ham shirt, so it had to go in there.
Go on! Run, you stupid lazy! Oh, what was you aiming for? The bloody floodlights, you twat!
Hi guys. Oh, you watching soccer? Yeah.
It's not soccer, it's football.
Oh, the Americans call it soccer.
I've got a few American viewers, so I needed to put that in just for them because of the argument between what soccer and football should be. Obviously, in the UK, it's always going to be called football. It's not going to be called anything else, whereas in the US, it's called soccer. So yeah, I had to put that in for that reason.
Oh, was there a lot of Americans where you grew up in Lewisham?
Well, no, but...
Then it's football, and I would appreciate if you kept your voices down. I'm trying to watch the game.
Okay, no problem.
Seriously? You're not going to give a penalty for that? You should be pulling out your red card, not pouncing around like a fairy. Do your job properly or get another job, you bloody stupid, clueless, no good waste of space.
This is what I'm saying with the personality of Mr. Daz. This is the episode where it really does shine through and you get an idea of what kind of person he is. But at the same time, it is one of them episodes where like he's going to say things like that. He's going to call the referees fairies and pansies. And there's another bit further on in the episode where he mentions gay. And it was one of them edgy episodes where because of the like what the days we live in now with the millennials and this is what you can say and this is what you can't say, and it was a very edgy episode that when I was creating it I was thinking at the time, should I be saying these things, shouldn't I be saying these things? But I just thought to myself, like, it's harmless fun, it's a cartoon, that it doesn't mean like I'm a homophobe or anything like that. It's just something that came to me at the time and I had to put in.
Wow, you get really into this, don't you?
Yeah, I can't help it. I'm a huge West Ham fan.
You seem very on edge. Is this a final?
No, it's pre-season friendly. What's in the bag?
That's one.
Oh, it's just my yoga mat. Just had a lovely 2-hour silent yoga session that's brought me inner peace.
Yeah, that's super. Look at this striker, he ain't worth a toss. You could put a cow in the middle of that penalty box and he'd probably do better than this knobhead.
Deep breaths. Inner space.
See, I've remained determined that throughout this whole series, even though I haven't looked at this as being made for kids, I've looked at it as more like teenage upper years to be watched. But I won't put swearing in it, I won't put any profanity in it because I don't want it to be that kind of show. But there are things like with Mr. Daz, they're like calling him a knobhead and things like that. I will put little things like that in. I just need to be careful because I've got a 5-year-old girl and she absolutely loves this show. Like every new episode that I've got, straight away she wants to watch it. So I need to be careful what I put in because Mr. Daz says bloody a lot. He's like, oh, bloody hell. She's stuck to pick up on it. So I do have to be very careful with what I put in it because she will go around repeating it. And I don't really want her to go in school and her teacher says her to do something and her teacher's like, Louise, tidy up now. She's like, oh, bloody hell. So yeah, that's what.
Can you stop mumbling and put the kettle on?
Fine, but I think you should come with me next weekend to the yoga weekend getaway. It might release some of that anger and aggression you have inside of you.
No, I'm good, thanks. Maybe you should come and watch a West Ham match so you can build up some anger. It's healthy to have a small flip out from time to time.
No, not for me. I'm a calm and collective person. Also, thank you for the offer, but I'm not into sports.
Yeah, and I'm not into weekends away with a bunch of snobs sitting around in a circle humming Kumbaya.
That's not what we do. We spend the weekend cleansing our bodies and our minds.
Yeah? Well, I'm going to spend the weekend drunk and angry. It's the first game of the season. I've got 2 tickets to watch West Ham slaughter Liverpool.
Can I come?
I would love to bring you, David, but I don't have enough tickets.
Well, you just said you have 2 tickets.
Yeah, I do, but I like to have the extra seat. It's always so cramped in them seats, so I'll buy an extra one for comfort.
Okay.
So in terms of the animations, this is parts that I don't like watching back because they're silly little things, but they make a big difference. So when Mr. Daz and David were just talking about the extra ticket, David was he was trying to look at Mr. Daz, but he's just looking up at the screen. So if you use that look at feature from iClone, it makes a big difference when actually watching it. So these are just things that I've picked up as I've been going along.
Okay, Mr. Daz, I'll tell you what. I will come with you to your West Ham game this weekend. Only if you promise that you'll come with me to the yoga weekend getaway the following weekend.
Why would I agree to that?
Because I will pay for the getaway. It won't cost you a penny and it'll be a weekend away.
Okay, cool, we can do that.
Can I come? Oh, I'd love to bring you, David, but I only have enough money for me and Mr. Daz. Okay.
Poor David.
Why are we taking the train when we could have drove to the stadium?
Because parking is impossible on match days. Besides, at least this way we get to enjoy all of the football atmosphere on the train.
So when I was creating this episode, that I had an image in my head of how I wanted this scene to look because I used to have a season ticket at West Ham, so I used to travel back and forth to there on the trains and the buses, and they used to be manic. And it was the case that you could be on a train that was completely empty, and in the blink of an eye, you're squashed up against the window of a train. I wanted to try and do that with this scene, but the only issue I had is if you look at the background, the train station is just an image from Google of West Ham train station. So any angles that I would have continued to do on the camera, it would have just looked odd because, as you can see, like behind this woman, you can see a man standing there on the platform, but he's walking. But throughout this whole scene, he's not walking. So if I would have used the camera angles to try and do this scene how I wanted it, it just wouldn't have come out proper. And I mean, I could have created my own background for it, but for a scene that was like 10-15 seconds long, I got lazy, basically.
But there's nobody on the train, Mr. Daz.
Wait for it.
So, which one is your team?
Claret and blue.
Which way are they trying to score?
That way.
What is the score now?
We haven't kicked off yet.
Oh, okay. It's really nice in here. For the amount of people, it doesn't seem to be all that loud.
Oh, come on, ref, what are you doing? Open your bloody eyes and watch the game and you might make a bloody correct decision. I don't...
So if I was to recreate this episode again, there's a couple of things that I would have done. Now, I wanted to try and get a football stadium in, and I managed to find one that was online for free. The only problem is that it took up a lot of memory, and my computer at the time was not that powerful to do it. So I decided just like this whole scene is just them seats and the people that you see. So if I was to pan out with a camera, there wouldn't be nothing else in this scene. The only thing I would have done differently here is, and I've done this a couple of times with a couple of episodes where I've been pulled on it, and it's right, in all fairness, it should have been done. If you've ever gone to a sporting event and it's the case that everyone's standing up, everyone's getting into the game and whatever, and there's a penalty or a foul or whatever, you get all the different reactions from people, whereas here you don't get the reactions. Like, you've got the woman in the middle, she's constantly moving, but then the two next to her are not moving at all, and the ones behind are not moving, and their hands. Now, no one stands like that with their hands like that for so long. They move at some point, especially if you're standing up. So these are the things that, like, for future episodes, that when there's crowds of people and everything, I try to make sure that everyone is involved in the scene, even if they're not talking, even if they've got no interaction in the scene. I'm trying to make sure that every single thing that you see on the screen has a purpose of being there. And at the moment, like, these characters don't have no purpose of being there because you've got Mr. Daz and Nick that are watching a football game, but the rest of them behind is like they're standing there waiting for a bus. So that is something from this episode that I spotted that I need to work on.
Care what anyone says, that was our throwing.
How long left?
85 minutes.
Well, that's a long time.
Don't worry, it flies by. Oh, come on, Arthur.
That you had that black screen, and these are little things that they just annoy me because, like, this is post-production, this is the editing side of things, so it was just me being lazy. So basically this was a whole scene where that black screen should have said like 85 minutes later, and then it takes you towards the end of the game. But that's just my laziness, where I should have clocked that straight away and I didn't.
Did you not see all that space down the flank? Yeah, up here, look, I can see it all. Try running a bit, you get paid enough to do it. Oi, you, get off your phone, you're supposed to be watching the game.
It's just little things like that that if you're creating animation, then you need to make it as realistic as possible while obviously keeping it cartoonish. And in this sense, it doesn't, because like taking away the fact there that the phone is going through Nick's finger, but like Nick's just picked up his phone and started looking at it. For one, the phone is upside down, and for two, Mr. Daz has said, "Oi, get off your phone. You're supposed to be watching the football." But he's not once looked at him. You've not seen his eyeballs dart towards his direction. So if Mr. Daz is there and he's focused on that football game, Nick picking up his phone, unless he looks directly at him, he's not going to notice that Nick's picked up his phone. So these are just little things in animation that, like, from watching these back at the beginning, I knew that I had to work on, and I feel that I've done pretty well with it so far. That, like, the improvement from the first few episodes.
It's quite boring.
How can you call this boring? Can't you feel the buzz in here? Feed off the atmosphere and let it... Wait! That's a bloody penalty! Off! 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 Off!
One part where, if you watch some of the newer episodes, one part where I do feel that I've made good strides in is with the actual motion of the characters. I mean, for here, like Mr. Daz, for the way that he just pointed up, that rather than using his elbow or his wrist or anything to point up, he's just gone straight up from the shoulder. And this is the motion puppet in iClone, where if you're going to animate, then you need to really focus on that, because like I said earlier, with the characters and everything, people will notice that these characters are not moving and everything, but they're not a main part of the scene. Mr. Daz and Nick are, so the main focus has to be on what they do, what their movement is. And for me, that would have been an easy spot. People would have looked at that and gone, what the hell, that's not how you move your arm. That even down to like, that's how his right arm is, but his left arm, it looks bent round and it's right up, like under his ribs, and it's just not natural. So this is something that I feel that I've worked on quite a lot, and I have started to make look a lot better in newer episodes.
Yeah!
What's happening?
If you watched the game, you'd bloody know. We just got a penalty and Robertson got sent off.
Oh, cool.
Come on, you iron! Come on, you iron! No! What are you doing?
That's the thing. If you are going to animate, that if you're watching these thinking like I'd like to animate, like I might give iClone a try. iClone is such an easy piece of software to use, but you need to make sure that you're going through everything frame by frame, and that is the one thing that I will say, because even back there, as Mr. Daz puts his arms down, his arms go through his hips. So, like, all the waist side there, his arms will go through him. And it's something that, if you go frame by frame, which doesn't take that long, they are so easy to spot and they're so easy to fix. And that is because iClone is such an easy software to use. There's other softwares out there that would make it a little bit more difficult to fix that, but iClone is not one of them. And for me, looking back at this, even though I created it, there's no excuses for that. If I make episodes now where, and I do get called out on it, and because I create a lot of content, like I'll go from one thing straight to the next. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of things that I do miss, but I watch an episode back now and that disappoints me. Like, it disappoints me, like, to watch this episode, to even think that, like, I was lazy enough to not go through it at all and spot that. So if you are going to animate, I would suggest just looking out for things like that.
That's not how you take a bloody penalty, you moron! You whack it! What was with all the bloody feet, you twat?
It seems like this game's going on forever.
Shut up, Nick. We're in stoppage time now, so it's nearly over.
Good, because I don't think I can take any more of this angering.
I had a season ticket over West Ham for about 10 years, and look, a majority of the time I was high up in the stands, so I was fine, but there were some games where I was on the lower tier, and that was a fear of mine, to be sitting there and be like enticed in a football game only to get smashed in the face by a ball coming at me. So yeah, I thought I'd put that in because that was a fear of mine.
You're not singing anymore. You're not singing anymore. Oh, that was a great game.
What was the score, Mr. Daz?
We drew 2-2, but
Even down to that, like if you go back a little bit, that for here, if you are going to animate, and it's these sort of things now that I would not make errors with. So if you're going to animate, you need to make sure that you're careful when it comes to the body weights and everything on clothing, as well as the meshes and everything. Because if you look here, like the crotch area for his shorts, that should never ever have got into the final render version. Now these are shorts that are supplied through iClone, so I'm not quite sure. Supplied from Reallusion, so I'm not quite sure why they ended up the way they did there. But like for that, it's easy. It takes 2 minutes to think, right, I'll go back into Character Creator, I'll put a different pair of shorts on him, or I'll just quickly fix that. It doesn't take that long. So again, these are things, make sure you watch out for them. And the issue with these, that you'll get it a lot, that if you buy, like for me, there's been things for some of my episodes that I've gone on and I've purchased through the Daz 3D store and through their marketplace, because there's things there that you can't find on the Reallusion marketplace. So one thing I would suggest is, when importing from Daz, to make sure you look out for these, especially when it comes to things like dresses, because what will happen is you'll get a spike that goes through certain parts of the clothing, and they're so easily fixed. And if you don't know how to fix them, like I said, Reallusion have a lot of videos on their YouTube channel that can help you with every single bit of this.
The score, Mr. Daz?
we drew 2-2, but we were so close to winning the game.
Who scored the goals?
What do you think this is, the bloody 90s? Look on your phone.
Okay. I must say that I thought I was really going to dislike it at the match, but the fact is, I hated it. How could you be into such brutality?
Brutality? Football isn't brutal anymore. You only need a gush of wind and a player fall to the ground holding his chest as if he's just been shot.
Well, I didn't like it.
Well, I don't care. In future, you can go to your poncy yoga weekends and leave me in peace with a footy.
Except for next weekend, when you'll be coming with me.
Yeah, about that. I don't think I can make it next weekend, Nick.
I knew you would do this. I tell you what, if you don't come with me, I will start making YouTube videos of me discussing all kinds of different topics. I have so many things to say, and the only place that I can do it is in the apartment, so you choose. The next month of me talking non-stop, or a weekend away where I'll barely speak.
See, from the last episode, like the dog has to go, you had it where Nick talked a lot to the point where he made Mr. Daz fall asleep, and then Mr. Daz wanted him to talk to Rocky to get Rocky to calm down and things like that. But like I said, it come to a point with that constant talking, it started to bore me a bit. So I wanted this episode, because it was the follow-on episode, I wanted this episode that it slowly phases it out, but not completely to the point where people would notice it. So that's why I put that bit in with, like, if you don't come to the yoga with me, I'll make YouTube videos for a month where I'm constantly talking. So it's a reference to his constant talking, and it was just a way to slowly phase it out. I love this part.
Namaste. Namaste.
Nick is gay. Nick is gay.
So through every episode that I've made so far, and there's a lot of parts that I actually find funny, but this is probably the funniest moment that has been in the show so far, and it's something so simple and so basic, and it wasn't actually in the original script. So I started to create this episode and this scene in particular, and Nick was namaste, namaste, and Mr. Daz straight away was like, Nick, where's the toilet? I need to go to the toilet. And as I was creating it, I was just thinking to myself, something is missing here. There's something here that like can be said, and it needs to be based on what Nick says as soon as he walks in, because this is not familiar surroundings for Mr. Daz. So it's a way of trying to get involved in the way Nick approaches it, but doing it in his own way. And that part that that Nick is gay, Nick is gay. That for me, when I thought of it, and I showed a couple of people before I actually went online, and like from one person, they just loved it and just couldn't stop laughing over it. So that's how that part went in. And like I said, with the personality of Mr. Daz and for the way he talks about people and certain things like fairies and pansies, this was another part where, like saying like Nick is gay, Nick is gay, could have gone really good or really bad for the program because of the way the world is today. But it just come to a point where I thought, "Do you know what? I don't care that it has to go in there. It's something that if I think of something that I find funny, that people might find offensive, but through my eyes, it's not overly offensive. Then it will go in. There is some things that I've thought of in the past which I've had to take a step back and think, no, that could be too offensive, that I've come away from. But this is not one of them. And I'm so glad that I put that bit in the episode.
Mr. Daz, show a bit of respect. These people are here to find inner peace.
Yeah? Well, I'm in a rush to find a toilet, so where is it? I think that hot dog I bought at the station is repeating on me.
It's in the hall.
Apart
Namaste.
from them blinking
Namaste.
and people doing yoga just look like statues.
Hi everybody. It was my choice for today's activity and I've chosen to have a yoga circle out here in the lovely forest. Please everybody sit in a circle, close your eyes and let's all find our inner peace.
Nick.
Right, so for this part, like I said, the more and more I created these episodes, the more and more Mr. Daz reminded me of my own dad for the way he is for a lot of the things that he does. But with this part, this is my personality. That if I was in a situation like Mr. Daz is in there, this is the sort of thing that I would do. So yeah, this is not based on me dad at all.
Where's the nearest restaurant? I need food. Shh! Don't you shush me. You know what I'm like if I don't eat.
When this is over.
Nick.
What?
How long does this go on for?
Only 3 hours.
3 hours? You having a bloody laugh? You want me to sit on this floor for 3 hours to find my inner peace? I don't need my inner peace. You know what I need? A lasagna because I'm bloody hungry.
Be quiet, Mr. Daz.
Fine. Home.
So, like little things like this, like with the humming, these wasn't originally part of the show. That these are things that, as I was creating it, I was thinking of different things, and the reason why these kept coming to me is because I can be quite an annoying person. That, like, you only have to speak to my wife, and my wife will tell you the same. If I get bored, I become very annoying. That if I'm bored, I will soon become one of these people that you just want to get out of the room as quick as possible. So yeah, that's where all this started to stem from.
Nick?
What?
I think I just heard a bear. I think we should leave.
We're in Epping Forest. There's no bears here.
How do you know?
Because I bloody do now. Be quiet.
Alright, calm down. This was supposed to be a relaxing weekend.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Cypher. Today I decided to break
Mr.
Fortnite
Daz,
with
these people pay good.
So I got into the Fortnite game because I wanted to play online with my son, and the way that I learnt the game was through watching Cypher PK's YouTube channel. So that was just a little tribute put in there for that.
Money for this, so please don't spoil it for him.
You mean they throw good money away for this? Surely you can do this at home with a forest sound effect on YouTube.
That's my mentality.
It's not the same.
Listen, if I close my eyes here and I close my eyes at home, I don't see any difference. The only difference is at home I can get up and make a bloody sandwich.
You can get something to eat when we're done.
Fine. Nick, it's important.
What?
Look.
Chloe, your hair.
Your hair is on fire. Your hair is on fire.
Right, so again, the singing part wasn't originally supposed to be put in. That at the time of creating this, like, my little girl was really into the Alicia Keys song "Girl on Fire," so I put that in for her because I knew for a fact that as soon as she watched it, she'd be fascinated with it. there's going to be a lot of times in the first series and the second series, and probably going on well into the future, that you're going to hear Mr. Daz singing. You won't hear Nick singing because, for me, I hate the sound of my own voice. That if I do the voice for Nick and then watch it on the animations like I am now, I don't think about it. But after this recording's done and I watch it back to make sure everything's okay, and I can see myself on the screen and in my voice, I can't stand it. So you'll never hear Nick sing. Mr. Daz you'll hear sing quite a lot, especially in one of the recent episodes that got released. He does his own rendition of Eminem's Rap God. But yeah, Nick won't sing. Maybe David at some point, but never Nick.
Right, I think we should cancel this session and try again tomorrow if that's okay with all of you.
Oh, I was enjoying that.
Go home.
What? Why?
Because I came here to find inner peace, and in less than 2 hours you've made me want to kill you.
Just goes to show that these places are a rip-off. Right, I'm off. See you later, losers.
If you've watched the show from the beginning and you're up to the current episode and everything, you will know that Mr. Daz hates being wrong, and he will do anything that he can to prove that he's right, even when everyone knows that he's wrong anyway. But he would never admit it, and he will always try to prove that he's right about something. And it just goes to show there that, like,
Just goes to show that these things don't work.
Hi, Mr. Daz.
Hi, Nick. How was the rest of your weird hippie weekend?
Not good. I got banned from the yoga club.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Because of you, Chloe now looks more like a Charles. The club had to refund all of the money for the 3-hour sessions you ruined, and apparently you broke one of the toilets when you first got there.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Chloe was pretty cute. I haven't seen her without hair, but I'm sure she still has it. Is she single?
I'm going to bed.
Okay, but you don't seem very peaceful. Oh, come on, you twinkle-toed pansy. Stay on your feet and try shooting once in a while. Oh yeah, this is relaxing.
Right, so that was the third episode from season 1, Hobbies. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you want to watch it without me being annoying and interrupting all the time, then it'll be on a card somewhere up there, so you can click on it and watch the full episode all the way through. There was a few things that I was disappointed with in that episode. So the audio, I was going through the phase of like setting everything up and just getting used to everything, and like for that, I found the best way to do the audio was between like my clothes in the wardrobe upstairs in the bedroom. And now, if you watch the newer episodes, you'll notice the audio quality is a lot better. Talking of audio quality though, the audio quality for this microphone that I'm using now, for some reason there's a humming sound as I talk, and I can't stand it, but I've tried everything to get OBS to sort it out, and it's just not happening. I don't know if it's because it's a cheap mic, but either way, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you like this video. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will be back tomorrow with a new episode, new review, which is for, I believe episode 4 is Has Named Jane, but if it's not, it will still be back tomorrow with another episode. Have a nice day, and I'll see you soon.